Om Shanti. Today we are going to share on how to remain blissful. How many of us have experienced a blissful stage? Can we raise our hands? Blissful stage. Not just being happy, but to be blissful. Good, very nice. I'm very happy to see so many hands rising. I used to hear this word bliss right from my early childhood, because I lived in the northern part of India, and this word Anand, the translation of the word bliss in Hindi is called Anand. And also Satchidananda word is very commonly used for God. Sach means truth, God is truth. Chit means life. He is a living being. And Anand is, he is always blissful. So remaining always blissful is the nature of the God. I used to have occasions to spend during my leave time some time with the high-class saints who used to live in Rishikesh, Himalayas, Haridwar, Rishikesh, and you go further up in the Himalayas to Badrinath, Kedarnath and all those areas. You come across some saints, or if you go to some good missions like Ramakrishna mission, which I used to visit quite often, I used to get a nice feeling when I see the blissful face of some high-class saints. But still, I never had an experience of bliss. I have always been a very happy type of a person, emotionally high, either having a hearty laughter or sometimes giving a blast too. I was with the armed forces, and armed forces people are normally tough. And one of the ways they remove their sorrows is they laugh off any awkward event which happens in our life sometimes. Even after dedication, one event happened in my life, and when I saw somebody, a senior person, telling a lie. So naturally I was frowning and I was feeling bad. And then a Bhai comes to me with this wonderful divine smile. He says, "What happened, Ashok?" So I told him, even after coming to this God-blessed place, which we call heaven on this earth, Madhuban, I came across a person who tells lies, white lies. I cannot tolerate that. And then Bhai, also being with the military background, he says, "Can't you laugh it off?" So I had a big laugh, and I could come out of that bit of irritation which was coming in my life. You can't see elders telling lies. You can accept younger ones doing some mischief, but you don't expect it from the elders. So elders are those who do not do any mistakes. And you expect them to be ideals. Still they are human beings, and all of the human beings have some limitations. What is the difference, by the way, between a human being and the Supreme Being? Any one of you? We all know Baba now very well. So we know the Supreme Being. Earlier, we had some concepts about him, but we had not seen him or known him in the real depth. Now we all know also the God himself. We see him, we interact with him, we listen to his versions. We observe how he behaves when he comes Those who have not seen it, they will see it on the 19th of February. How many of you have not met Baba? First timers? Okay, not many, still quite a bit. Okay, first I'll ask those people who have not seen God. What is your concept about God? You see so many human beings and we say God is the supreme being. What do you expect? How will he behave? The sister right in front? You haven't seen him? Full of love. Good. How about you? You are also come first time? Yes. What do you expect you will see on 19th Feb? A lot of love. Good. Peaceful. Very nice. Anybody else? Doesn't matter whether we have met him or we have not met him, anyone. What is the difference, basic difference between a human being and the Supreme Being? Yes? Could you rise? Could you get up? Yeah, speak. Supreme Being is bodiless. How do you say him? Perfect in all respects. He is? How about human beings? We are all human beings. Baba is always stable. Good. Yes, yes, yes. Good. Always pure. Very nice. Humble. He has no? He has no irritation. Human beings, how I define is good. I am sharing and I am learning quite good views from every one of you. Human being, I feel, is the one who loves some people. We all love some people. And we hate some people. Or at least we don't like some people, we dislike some people. So we don't love all. We love some and we do not love some people, or we hate some people. And we are not concerned about 99% people on this earth, at least. Any one of you is concerned about more than 1% people, or you have come in contact with more than 1% people on this earth? Not even President Obama comes in contact with more than 1% people on this earth. Because we don't come in contact with the people, so we are not much concerned about them. And out of the people whom we come in contact, we love some and we do not love some people. Or we at times hate some people because of their awkward behaviors. People behave in different manners and we don't like their behavior, so we don't like them. As simple as that. Coming to the Supreme Being, this is what we human beings are. Maybe when we have become Brahmins, we have changed. At least we don't hate anyone. We may or may not like them, but we don't hate anyone anymore, because that's the basic quality of a Brahmin. But how about the Supreme Being? Whosoever we are, whatever type of we are, doesn't matter. He loves all. Sister Shivani, she comes on Astha channel. How many of you have seen Shivani on Astha channel? Or any channel? She always comes with an interview with one of the sisters. And that sister tells what did she like in Shivani. When Shivani told him about God, God is the one who loves you in every manner, whosoever you are, whatever may be your qualifications or limitations, but He loves you. As you are, He loves you. Does any one of us love everyone, whosoever they are, whatever they do? Can we? But difficult. If they behave nicely, we love them. If they don't, we don't. But God is the only one who loves all, who hates none, Not a single one. How many people are we on this earth now? I think about 7 Arabs we call it. 1 Arab is about 1,000 million. So God loves all, every one of us. Not just some of we Brahmins. Maybe He loves a little more, we Brahmins, because we are His worthy children. But He loves all. And He is concerned about each and every one on this earth. He wants everyone to achieve liberation, if not fruition. Fruition only one can achieve when he puts in some effort for it. Like we Brahmins, we have to be Brahmin first to become deities. Otherwise you cannot become deities. And those who do not become Brahmins, still He is concerned about them. And He imparts them liberation from sorrows. Maybe they have to stay in the Paramdham for more than 2,500 years. But they are happy. They want to stay there. So he is concerned about each and everyone, and He loves everyone. He has good wishes for everyone. We have our limitations. To be blissful, first of all, one has to develop that attitude of having good wishes for all. Because to be blissful is not a human quality, it is a divine quality. Human beings have limitations, divine beings do not. They come out of the limitations, that's why they are called divine beings. We see deities, how do they look like? We all have an aim to become Sri Lakshmi Sri Narayan. What is so good about Sri Lakshmi Sri Narayan that we want to be like them? Yes, any one of you? They are? Pure. Good. Yes. What else? Do you remember to get today's slogan? Murli's slogan, last line? Adi Murli? Who remembers? Okay, raise your hands. Those who remember the last line of the Murli, just Mani. Yes, what did it speak? Prasannachit hi prashansaniya hai. What is prasannachit? Those who are happy in heart. From their heart, those who are happy, always happy looking. They are prashansaniya, means they are praiseworthy. If you always look happy, full of happiness, you are praiseworthy. You know, we praise the deities all the time. Why? They are always looking very happy, and they bestow happiness on us. And we all want to be always happy. So we praise them because they are always happy. Have you ever seen a deity's photograph with no happiness or, looking depressed or something? Any one of you has ever seen a deity looking depressed? I have never seen in India at least. Not in Indian pictures. Otherwise we don't call him a deity. We see Lord Krishna, or we see Sri Lakshmi, or we see Sri Radhe, we see Sri Narayan, or whatever. They always look very happy and always smile, because their heart is always full of happiness. And the reason is because they are always pure. Since they are always pure, and they are always soul conscious. Even if they behave like normal human beings, but it is a natural nature of purity, of soul consciousness with them. They do not know the God. They don't know the God. So they are ever happy. But we still don't call them ever blissful. Only we Brahmins can become blissful. Why? Why we Brahmins only can become blissful? Because we only come in connection or in touch with the blissful. There is only one personality who is always blissful throughout 5,000 years. Who is he? Who is always blissful, who never loses a stage of blissfulness. Who is it? Baba, that's all. There is no one else. Only Shiv Baba is always blissful. Because this word bliss is related to those who do not have a body. Very important. Bliss is the primary quality of the God, the Almighty. And He always bestows, He likes to bestow bliss on His children, provided we want to have that. And we only can have that. Nobody else can have it. This is our fortune that we come in contact with Him, we can communicate with Him, we can see Him as the blissful and bestowing bliss on us. Like last time when Baba came, what did he do? You must have read the Murli. He did some drill. Whenever we do exercise, it gives us relaxation. And he did a drill with us. Rather, he taught us a drill to experience 4 stages. What was it? First one? Which was the first stage he made us experience? Yes, one can get up and speak. Anadi Sthiti. Anadi means eternal, which does not have any beginning or end. That's called Anadi. Adi means the beginning, Anadi means no beginning, no end. So our eternal stage, He made us experience, because He is eternal and so is the soul in Paramdham. It experiences eternity, and He made us go into that seed stage. He made us sit by His side. He made us see ourselves as shining stars with a little more shine than the other stars have got. He compared with the normal skies in which He says some stars are shining brighter than others. And He said, those are you souls. See your Anadi stage. Shining stars, shining bright and emanating light. And it's in that Paramdham stage when we are with Him, we experience peace and bliss. And then He made us come to our deity stage, the beginning. And then He brought us to the worship-worthy stage. And then to the present, and then made us have a feeling of the return journey back to Paramdham. So He started from Paramdham, made us go through the cycle, the beginning, the middle, the end, and then again back home. So this word bliss comes from the blissful Father. I had heard this word many times when we were very happy. We say, oh, Ananda aa gaya. No, we are very happy and we are blissful. But really we did not have the experience of bliss. At least I didn't have the experience of bliss till I came in contact with the Brahma Kumaris. 40 years back on 18 January 1972, when I came first time to the center that was in Delhi in Rajouri Garden, Sister Sudesh was the in charge of that center, who now lives in Frankfurt. And when I went in, since I was with the armed forces, the life was, very daring, dashing type of a personality. He used to drive at 95 kilometers the motorbike in Delhi city. And then, suddenly brake and tuck, 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 you go up and see a center, you get into a home, and then you see inside and you find 60, 70 people sitting in dead silence. Then you feel annoyed. I said, what happened? Why are they sitting in silence? Has somebody died? And Sister Sudesh comes smilingly with a divine smile on her face, and she was the angel whom I saw for the first time. And then she looks at me, yes and no. She spoke in a very soft voice as Baba speaks. I said, what do you mean, yes and no? And she said, today is the day when our Brahma Baba, the founder of the organization, achieved his final angelic stage. So these people are sitting in deep silence and doing meditation and enjoying bliss. So I said, okay, then shall I come tomorrow? Let them enjoy the bliss and let them remain peaceful, because I didn't like silence at all. So much silence, that it was deadly silence. And she again smiles and says, no, 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 why have you come? I said, I came to learn meditation. And then she says, then this is the best time, come in. And I said, but you are in silence, how are you going to teach me? She says, meditation is practicing silence, you don't need to be taught. So I looked at her and then she said, okay, I'll teach you 3 basics of silence experience. And you say, I am a peaceful soul. I am a soul, first of all, a shining star at the center of the forehead, and I am peaceful by nature, and I am the child of the peaceful Father. She spoke 4 sentences in an avakt voice, like Baba speaks, and that was all my course, 35 seconds. So I was looking at her emanations of peace and bliss started affecting me. And I coolly walked behind her. I was made to sit in the classroom, behind everyone else. But still, the youngster who comes from outside, from that world which is full of hectic things, high-speed world and so-called, and being a bit naughty by nature, I was sitting behind and watching. So many people looking at that point of light. Oh, so this is their God, If I switch off the light, their God will die. So all these guys will lose their meditation. Oh, no, I shouldn't do that. It's not good, At least let them do meditation. If I don't know it, what can I do? This is what I was thinking as a naughty boy, sitting behind. But gradually getting into that environment of silence. And then Sudesh comes. And she knew these army guys, they only accept orders. They don't work otherwise. And then she looked at me and she says, now Didi is going to conduct meditation. I said, so what do I do? You will keep your eyes open, brother. Okay, sister. So she goes to the stage and starts giving drishti. Normally in meditation, we always keep our eyes closed as per the bhakti. Wherever we have done meditation earlier, it was being done with eyes closed. Your mind may be still running around here and there, but you keep your eyes closed when you are meditating. So I just kept the eyes open, and then she looked at me, and I saw a cool breeze blowing towards me. I experienced that cool breeze, like, from the air conditioner, the cool breeze comes to you, and sitting at the end, I could still feel it very clearly. And since I said I used to have the opportunity of visiting some saints in my younger days, used to go to Rishikesh and Haridwar and Himalayas and all those places of pilgrimage. And when you come in the company of very high-class saints, you feel those vibrations coming. Like now all of us experience from our seniors, Dadi Janki always emanates those vibrations. All our teachers are able to do that. But for me, it was the first occasion when I saw a sister sitting on the stage and emanating vibrations of peace. And I was feeling the coolness of the vibrations coming on to me. So naturally, I started coming under that effect. And then I thought that let me think what she told me to think. And then the first thought, I am a point of light, I am a soul at the center of the forehead. And I am a peaceful soul. That's all I could think. And then suddenly I felt as if a body of light is coming out of this physical body and started flying up. Means moving into trance. First time in my life I went into trance. And then when I went up, I saw myself in the angelic form for some time, then again a shining star at the forehead of the angelic body. And then looking up, I could see the golden red light. And then I thought, I am the child of the ocean of peace. And I saw a shining bright light. emanating peace and bliss towards me. And I was lost. Not for a short time, solid 1 hour. I had no knowledge of the people sitting in the classroom, and I was totally in that peaceful and blissful stage. I remember it was 5:30, I entered the class, 5:35 I must have flown up, and came back, it was 6:30. Because when you go into that stage of seed stage, you lose the count of time. When you're really in a deep meditation, the first thing is you will be going beyond time. So beyond space was a pull, you went up, and beyond time, I don't know. I had no knowledge of time. Only when I came back to this body and started looking around, because people had started talking. They were meditating for the whole day. They were in silence, full day. So they must be wanting to talk. And you know what I felt? Why these guys are talking? Can't they keep silent? So that was the difference. When I came in, I was annoyed, why are they sitting in silence? And when I came back from that silent stage, the thought emerging was, why are they talking? Is it so important to talk? So this is how, when you go beyond time and space, you go through that experience of closeness with the Father, the blissful Father, and you go into that state of bliss. You lose the count of time, and then you start loving silence. Then I got up. It was difficult to put my feet on the floor. I felt as if, it's like happening. And then I walked out. I was on my motorbike going home. I was feeling as if, I will start flying with the motorbike itself. I was holding it tight. I remember that day very clearly. That was the first day with the Brahma Kumaris. Second day I started looking at the teacher again, Sister Sudesh, like this. Then I went in the evening to learn meditation. And she said, where are you looking? I said, Didi, when you yesterday looked at me, I went up. But today nothing is happening. She says, yesterday I did not look at you, brother. It was Baba looking at you, so he pulled you up. I cannot send you in trance. So, but do you like to go into that stage at your own will for any length of time? I said, of course, I love to do that. And then she said, you have to do 7 days course. And this 7 days course of Brahma Kumaris never ends. Once you get into it, you are with it all your life. Every 7th day is a Monday, Baba's day. Every Thursday is a Sadguruvar. And you are with the Sadguru. And you don't want to leave him at all. So this is how it happens. We all have some deeper experiences of silence, some way or the other. Fortunately, it happened with me the very first day. But then the curiosity rose that who is that Baba who looks at you and gives you that experience? If she says that it was Baba who was giving you experience, where does that Baba live? I knew Shiv Baba lives in Paramdham because I did 7 days course. But when she said that he looks at you, he looked at you, and then I said, is it possible to meet Baba somewhere? Or I have to wait 1 full year for next 18 January that he will look through you? She said, no, Baba comes in Madhuban, don't worry Ashok, you can always look at him and you can always meet him. I said, where is that Madhuban? I must go. So within a month's time, since I was already leading a pure life, I was a vegetarian and I had no such habits which normally a military officer has got. Fortunately, my family background was such. So I was given an opportunity to go to Madhuban. And my first meeting with Baba, now we meet Baba in a crowd of 20,000 people. And then there was no peace, there was no Shantivan, no diamond halls, no Gyan Sarovar. And even in Madhuban, there was no Om Shanti Bhavan. There was no meditation hall. The meditation hall came up in 1974. There was only one hall, and that is History Hall, we call it now. We call it History Hall, Baba's History Hall. That was the hall. And the only room where we used to experience deep peace is the same as we experience now, and it is which room? Madhuban? Which room is the most peaceful? Which gives you the best experience of meditation? Which room? Baba's room, as simple as that. So Baba, good old days, till early 70s, on the holy day, he used to come in his room. Other days he will come in History Hall, meet children. Parties' strength used to be 20, 30, 40, not more than that, because there was no accommodation for more people. Now we have accommodation for 15,000 people in Shantivan, 1,000 people in Gyan Sarovar, another 1,000 people in Panda Bhavan. But those days, the accommodation was very small, and not more than 30, 40 guests could comfortably stay. And the beauty of the holy day was Holy Festival Day. Holy Festival come again on 5th March, and many of you will meet Baba on 5th March as well. Baba used to come in his room. That means Dadi Gulzar used to sit on the small mattress in Baba's room. You have seen? Baba's room has got only three things: Baba's translight, Baba's cot, and Baba's gaddi, or the small mattress, white mattress, on which Baba used to sit and write letters to the children. So I reached somehow. That again is a very funny story how I reached there. It was something like the first day I entered into Rajouri Center. Similarly, I entered into Mount Abu in a very funny manner. Traveled all the way on a motorbike, preached there at midnight. Because Baba was coming, so I made it. And then, since there was no system of parties and group leaders and I had no knowledge of the systems there, I just happened to rush because I had that pull of the first day that I must meet Baba and take his drishti and again go up. And in the evening I was told, "Have you come to meet Baba?" I said, "Of course, I want to meet Baba." And somebody took me into Baba's room and pushed me inside. "Go in, see, Baba is there." So I was looking from the gate, oh, so this is Brahma Kumari's Baba. A Dadi Gulzar sitting on that mattress, and one sister sitting in front of Baba, and one old man sitting on the right side of Baba, and that's it. There were three people in the room, and I was made to move in. Why I am explaining you all this? This bliss word is not an easy word because it's a very special type of a word. The only word which doesn't have an antonym. Happiness has an antonym as sorrow. Day has an antonym as night. Everything has got an antonym, the reverse. There is no antonym of bliss. It's the only word in the dictionary. Whether we have a Hindi dictionary, we call it Anand, and we have an English dictionary, we call it bliss. There is no reverse of bliss. There is no antonym of bliss. So bliss is very different than we normally talk about the words or experiences. The first experience of bliss was when we went up. And second experience was destined for me on the Holy Festival Day in Baba's room. And once I entered, I sat down behind that sister, and that sister looked like a skeleton of bones. She was in a white sari, all right, but we could easily see, she was so thin, weight must be hardly 40 kgs. And absolutely, a skeleton of bones could be seen. And a very rich guy was sitting on one side, Since I had only seen Bhakti Marg saints and, big Swamijis who meet the very big people, rich people, and, give a lot of appreciation for them. Oh, if you make a rich man meet a sannyasi, he has to praise him because he needs money for his ashram. So if a rich man goes, oh, I see, so you are Seth Gangadhar, very nice to see you and all that, they talk like this, the saints. But here it was an atmosphere of total silence, and that sister who was sitting in front of Baba was appreciating, Baba, he's a very rich man. I have brought him from Mumbai. He has got a very big, huge mills, So, but the God was looking at her and not looking at that rich man at all. Rich men in India can be seen distinctly with the cap they put on. The Marwadis have got a circular cap, and their dress can be easily indicative of their richness. So I was looking at both of them, and then first thing which I gathered, at least the Brahma Kumari's Baba doesn't get impressed by rich people. He kept hearing her appreciations, and then he picked up an apple, looked at that rich man, just gave him drishti for a few seconds and gave an apple smilingly, and the rich man was asked to go out. So he went off. Now we were only two sitting with Baba. Now Baba coolly looks at her and gives her a lovely drishti, and he observes that this sister has got a bony body. She is so thin, so low weight, means she is working very hard doing Baba's service and not bothered about her body. But the way the God speaks or the human being speak is very different. That's what I observed the first day. So Baba looked at her and says, whose body is that, child? Bachi, ye sharir kiska hai? So I had to be very careful because there was no mic, and Baba's avakt voice is very low. Ye bachi, ye sharir kiska hai? And then she looks at him and she says, Baba, aapka hai. She was a dedicated Brahma Kumari, of course. And then she says, aapka hai, it's yours. He says, sure? I said, yes, sure. And then he uses a beautiful rhymic language, Baba uses even in Murli these days. That's his specialty. Then Baba said, तो बच्ची इस अमानत में खयानत डालने का अधिकार तुमको किसने दिया है? The question asked was that if this is my body, then you are a trustee to it. And it is my, amanat means you have kept something under trust with someone. And khiyanat is that you play with the money which has been given to a trustee. She says, then who has given you the right to play with this body who is my body? It's my property, I gave it to you. How dare you not take care of it? So Baba's language is very different than a human being's language. If he was a human father, then his language would have been different. Hey, why don't you take care of it? Like that. While the Godfather says, and he speaks so sweetly, so softly, so lovefully, बच्ची, तो इस अमानत में खयानत डालने का तुमको क्या अधिकार है? So naturally she was a bit perplexed and she didn't know what to answer. And then again he smiles and he says, he knew that she must be taking food only once a day and then running around doing Baba's service. She says, do you know how to make Brahma Bhojan? Bachi, Brahma Bhojan banana aata hai? And she says, yes, I know how to make Brahma Bhojan. And then he says, please make Brahma Bhojan twice a day from tomorrow onwards. Then offer it to Baba. He also knew that she is committed to my service. That's why she is not able to take care. And she loves me so much that I have to give her a hint by which she is able to accept my advice. And she says, कल से बच्ची 2 बार ब्रह्मा भोजन बनाना दिन में. Make Brahma Bhojan twice a day. And then Baba ko bhog lagana. Offer it bhog to Baba. Because then only she will eat. Because she must have been a very tough and stringent Brahma Kumari. And then, फिर इसको खिलाना. Then feed it to this body, which is mine, not yours. So, I was really surprised and I was delighted the amount of love, how he bestows and how he expresses his love to his children, to his dedicated children. That make Brahma Bhojan twice a day, offer it to Baba, and then nicely offer it to this body also. Because this body is mine, not yours. So this is how he made her take care of the body. You know who was that sister? Can anybody imagine? She read the Murli this morning. Dr. Nirmala Didi. And I found out that she was really taking meals only once in a day, and she used to run around all over Bombay to give message to different people. And not at all bothered about the body. God had to teach her to take care of the body because it belonged to Baba and not to her. So these are behavioral differences of a person who always remains blissful. So I wanted to elaborate on that first, that these experiences are all superhuman experiences and not human experiences. They cannot be experienced in a body conscious stage. And then Didi was given those blessings and given an apple, and she walked off. And now it was only me and he, no one else in between. Nobody behind me. So I moved up slightly and sat in front of Baba. And the moment he started giving drishti, by this time naturally I had become soul conscious and I was listening to their voice. I was in a good stage of meditation. And the moment he looked at me, the vibrations started pouring on me. First, cool vibrations of peace, and then blissful vibrations. So that feeling of supersensuous joy or bliss, started emerging. There was no need to go up, not required, because he had come down. So I don't need to go up to see him there. He was right in front of me. And his deep drishti continued for quite some time, and then he asked, "So what are you thinking, child?" So I looked at him and said, "No, I am not thinking anything, Baba. I have achieved what I wanted to achieve in my life. Pana tha, so pa liya." That feeling came right from the heart and it was just shared with him. So much, 45 minutes to explain what is bliss. And now we have to share how to remain blissful. So anyone wants to say something on that, how to remain blissful? There was a purpose in explaining this. We can only feel blissful when we are in company of the blissful Father. There is no other way to experience bliss in life. Happiness you can get. You can be happy, you can be over happy, you can be sad. But to experience bliss, the only way is to experience it in the company of the Father who is always blissful. And the best timings to be in his company are Amrit Vela and evening meditation. 7 to 7:30 is the best time, or 6:30 to 7:30. You can find 1 hour or half an hour, whatever you feel comfortable, because we all come from homes and we do a lot of different duties. But at least we have to find half an hour in the morning hours and half an hour in the evening hours to be absorbed in his remembrance to experience bliss. That is one way of remaining or experiencing bliss. Now, how to remain blissful? God always remains blissful. We all know it. It's all right, it's our luck when we see him in front, or we go up and meet him there. We meet him through meditation, we feel his company in different ways. Through different relations, we can keep experience his closeness to us. And when we feel his closeness to you, you naturally experience the blissful stage. Second way to remain blissful is to do what he does. What does he do? What does the God do? He always emanates what he has. He observes what is happening around, he knows what is happening around, but he doesn't come under the effect of anything which happens around. In Parandham it's fine, nothing happens there, so he has no problems. But when he looks down onto the earth, he sees all of us, not only the Brahmins, but also millions of suffering souls. He feels mercy on them, but he doesn't get disturbed. He is not affected. He is always detached observer. To sustain his blissful stage, he has to be a detached observer, and not only that, he always bestows mercy on them. He does his role of bestowing peace and bliss because he is always merciful. So he has mercy on his children, or he has love for his children. So to we Brahmin children, he has extreme love. Because we are, why does he love us more, so much? He bestows on us. We are his children. Everyone is a child. We are his instruments of world transformation. We are the children who join him in his task of world transformation. That's what he loves. That's what he likes from the core of his heart. And that's what he does. And he makes us join him. So as long as we are with him, as long as Didi Nimla keeps making Brahma Bhojan twice a day, keeps offering him, and does his work with full vigor and strength, he likes it. So he made her do that. So Didi Nimla is now having good healthy body. She is 75 and she still maintaining very good health. If she had continued like that, doing overwork, I don't know how long she would have lived. But she followed him, and she willfully followed him, because every Brahma Kumari lovefully follows Baba. So she has done his service for such a long length of time. At least for the last 40 years we've been observing, serving the whole world, going to all Australasian countries, and then finally coming to Gyan Sarovar and sustaining 200 of us who live here, and then all of you who come here. And naturally she is a loved one by the Father. That's why, he really blessed her by putting her hand on her head when she was given the responsibility of Gyan Sarovar, of becoming a bridge between the East and the West. So Baba personally blessed her, he put her hand on her head. And then she became our director. We are very fortunate to have a worthy soul like her taking care of us. She is also a source of bliss. And she also maintains a blissful stage for most of the time. I see her, she is normally not affected by situations around. That's what we have to do to experience bliss. But still she is a human being with us. At times we create difficult situations for her. But maintaining a blissful stage is paying a personal attention on yourself. Either you are in companionhood of the Father, or you are doing his work, being with him, doing his service in a detached manner, serving the souls, but remaining detached from their sanskars. When we come in body consciousness, we observe everybody's sanskars and we say, no, how can you do that, this and that? We keep changing our moods. But when we are totally detached observers and we are always in his company, then we can sustain that bliss. Or you experience that bliss, that super sense of joy, that extreme happiness, when you are busy with this work and you see some results coming up. Like I'll give you a couple of experiences, some stories of my life. As I said, first day's exposure to bliss was to become soul conscious first, because we always have been body conscious. So first day's experience was, he pulled his weight and pulled me up, and then I became soul conscious. Later, the Sister Sudesh gave us the process, and then we could go into that stage by our own effort. And then once you are busy with Baba's service, and you see some things happening which are of a rare nature, that also gives you a blissful stage. And if you are always doing his work, you can sustain blissful stage for quite a length of time. I won't say constant 24 hours. We can't sustain seed stage all the time. But at least we can sustain a very high stage of meditation, or a medium stage of meditation, or of peace and happiness we can always sustain. And we keep experiencing bliss in between, at least during traffic control time, or at least a minute or so every hour. So we have different ways and means we have found. Traffic control is one of the ways, when Baba says, okay, practice the drill for that minute when you do traffic control. But also when we do his active service of transforming the world, and then you see results coming up, that gives you a feeling of blissfulness. Like when you are conducting meditation, why is always blissful? He is conscious of his blissful stage and he emanates bliss. So when we emanate vibrations of peace and bliss, we also feel blissful. We receive and we transmit. Emanations are not yours. You have to be very careful that basically emanation of bliss is his job. So when we are in communication with him, he emanates bliss on us, and through us it flows into the atmosphere around. And when you become an instrument of emanating his vibrations, you feel blissful. That's the subtle work which we do during meditation. And then giving his knowledge to people, doing some projects which glorify him, that also gives you some very nice experiences. And if you are absorbed in those activities, you can sustain bliss. Now we have a few minutes to experience the bliss.
सतयुग में तुमको आना है, शिव पिता को अब याद करो। ये संगम का स्वर्णिम युग है, शिव पिता से आया है। ब्रह्मांक से शिव बाबा ने वही गीता ज्ञान सुनाया है। कलयुग का अंत अब आया है, विकराल विनाश खड़ा आगे। पिता को अब याद करो। पांडव शिव शक्ति सेना की रणभेरी अब फिर बजती है। माया को पिता को अब याद करो, मुक्ति धाम तुम्हें जाना है। अपने सुकर्मों के बल पर ही सतयुग में अब तुम्हें आना है। सतयुग में अब तुम्हें आना है। तुम्हें गाना है।
While leading a dedicated life, one gets a lot of opportunities to do Baba's work in a variety of manners. You get involved into some projects sometimes which are very interesting. Like that Million Minutes of Peace Appeal, which was launched in 1988, that was wonderful. Then the youth wing did a project, 100 million minutes of emanation of good wishes, and they achieved 1,000 million minutes. There we had a target of 1 million, we could achieve about 100 plus millions when the Australians started that project. And the youth wing, after 2000, we did a project, so we had a target of 100 millions and we crossed 1,000 millions, That's what is the beauty part of it. When you tell people to emanate good wishes, they enjoy it so much. They do much more than you expect them to do. Because that's your true nature. We did a project called Dwadash Jyotirling Yatras. In the year 2000, during our annual meeting, a project was planned to choose 12 Shiva temple models. There are 12, Dwadash Jyotirling means there are 12 temples in India. There are thousands of temples in India of God Shiva, but 12 are very famous. And there are a lot of good stories behind them that the God descended at that point and then, he left his memorial. Like we have one in Kashi Vishwanath. Kashi is Banaras, central part, rather northern part of India. We have one in Rameshwaram, the southern part of India. We have one in Badrinath, which is the northernmost. Kedarnath, we have one. Then near Dwarka, we have one. Somnath is another one. There are such 12 temples in India which are called Dwadash. Dwadash means 12. Dwadash means 10 plus 2. That is 12. And those 10 temples are very famous. Millions of people assemble at those temples on Shivratri day. And all Mondays also lots of people go to those temples. All the Shiva temples are visited by bhaktas, but the strength is hundreds of thousands. But here the strength is millions. So I used to always think as to why these 12 temples, what is the specialty that millions of people visit those temples. And in India it is a very deep belief that God himself, gave his light and might to those shivlings, which are those 12 places. So during our annual meeting, a project was thought that we will take out Dwadash Jyotirling Yatra. Yatra means a pilgrimage. People move for a pilgrimage, go to some special place. But here we decided that we'll make models of those temples. We start the yatra from those points where the Dwadash Jyotirlings are established, and then each model will be taken out from different towns of the country and will be brought to Madhuban. So all the 12 temple models will be put on a truck, and that tableau will keep moving from different places till it finally reaches Madhuban. The target laid was that through personal visits and media together, we should cross a target of 30 crores, means 300 million. And by personal visits, we must have a target of at least 3 crores, means 30 million people at least will visit those tableaus and statues and come and give their, they will come and bow down, do whatever puja they want to do, but they'll get a personal message through a Brahma Kumari sister, either through a speech or through a pamphlet. So we had to print millions of pamphlets to serve millions of people. And that was also done happily. Because what happens, there is a faith, of people. Faith is always blind. Whether they know it or not that God is a point of light, but they definitely believe that Jyotirling is definitely the place of God. And if that Jyotirling, they go and visit, they see the God. Or if that Jyotirling comes into their town, they are meeting the God. This is the faith of the people. So what we did was that we asked the teachers of those areas to make their models and put them on a truck and take them around different towns and finally bring it to Madhuban. And also do a little ritual every day in the morning as if you are doing little worship, because that's what people like. And then, you will go, a group of people will move with that model, and then when they go there, they will just tell. You can speak openly. Even today, it is happening in some of the towns. That technique which was evolved in 2000 is being used even today. Now, Mahashivratri is approaching. So there are some small centers which have made a tableau of that on a small vehicle, and they take it to the rural areas. And on a loudspeaker they speak, "See, ladies and gentlemen, now you are so lucky. Today, Lord Shiva has come into your town to meet you all. The Bholanath has come himself to meet you all." Because it's one of those Dwadash Jyotirling models which is loaded on a vehicle. And when that vehicle moves into a village, the villagers feel very happy when they are told that God Bholanath has come into your village. And then the villagers will stop coming out and they start, doing worshipping, putting money and all that. That's what the normal ritual is. And then that Brahma Kumari will say, he has not only come to give you his vision, he has also come to give you his message. And that's what I will tell you. And then she tells, that God Shiva has descended in Prajapita Brahma. And the basic knowledge, concepts in your all souls. And you are very fortunate that the godly message has come to your village. And God himself has come to reveal himself. So these messages are received with a lot of devotion and dedication by the people. So if you want to serve the masses, it has become a standard means. But when that project was launched for the first time, and from 12 different places I had to go to make arrangements, I had to visit all those 12 places, which is very far, From here to go to Rameshwaram is traveling 3,000 kilometers. And then to devise a route of movement of that model from Rameshwaram into Mount Abu, from Kedarnath into Mount Abu, from Guwahati, which is the easternmost place, Vaidyanath, from that place to this place. So there was a lot of hard work needed. But anyway, we did it quite joyfully, because whomsoever is given the task and he becomes the instrument, he feels quite happy about it. So the first day when I saw Baba, and he bestowed the blessing of purity onto me and asked whether you pledge to take it in life, and I shook out my hand and we pledged purity to him. But that was my hand coming out to seek his blessings. Now when this project was launched, really it worked very well, and when the preparations were going on, there was a big enthusiasm, and a lot of good news used to pour into Mount Abu to Dadi Prakashmani, that Dadi, I'm doing this, we are making this model, and we are moving, and so many people are coming, thousands of people assemble in a very short time, and we are sure that millions of people will come and take benefit of this yatra. So that sort of good messages were coming, and the yatras were starting at different points and different points of time, because if you are 3,000 miles away, it will take you at least 3 months to travel to Mount Abu. So on different occasions, good news used to drop in. And then on the New Year day, the yatra was to start from Benares on the 2nd of January. So 1st January I had to go. So when we were meeting Baba, those days there was a system that we used to request Baba to walk through the crowd. In the Diamond Hall, we used to lay down a nice carpet, and after the Murli, Baba will descend down and he will walk on the carpet so that he goes close to every child and gives drishti to all. So Baba was requested by Dadi to come down, and then as he came, I was sitting on the first seat, and Dadi started giving introduction. Baba, this child Ashok, he is the instrument of Dwadash Jyotirling Yatras. He is organizing all your Dwadash Jyotirling Yatras, your Dwadash Jyotirling, because God Shiva is God Shiva and his Shivlings are his Shivlings. So he is going tonight itself at 12 o'clock to Banaras to start the Yatra from Banaras. So Baba looked at me, and then, now once he looks at the soul, that bliss automatically flows. And then as I was taking drishti, and as Dadi was explaining that he is the instrument to organize the Dwadash Jyotirling Yatras, Baba took out his hand to shake hand. For me, that was the most blissful experience of my life, when God is taking out his hand to shake hand with you. First day I had to take out my hand to shake hand with him, but that was the day, the year 2000, New Year Eve, when he took out his hand to shake hand with his child. So when you do something exceptional, you get something exceptional from him, from the blissful Father. But more blissful was the experience when the yatras finished. And that question was still remaining in my mind. Really, more than 30 million people came to the yatras at different towns and all that. That was okay, it was a good news. But then at the end it was decided. The ending ceremony happened in Abu Road, and we invited a Shankaracharya, and then all the tableaus were made to march in front of those people. There were religious heads of different religions. So the tableaus were shown to them, and it was a nice function, closing ceremony. But then a thought emerged that why not show all these tableaus of Dwadash Jyotirlings to Baba? Now, how to show it to God? A message was sent through Dadi Gulzar that children desire that Baba should look at those models of those Dwadash Jyotirlings, which have done a tremendous service and served more than 30 million people in prisons, so many pamphlets, so many speeches, and the message was given to more than 30 million people, and if you include the press, news media, then more than 330 million people. So naturally, when Baba was given the message, he was quite happy, and he says, okay, I will have a look on those, tableaus. Let it happen. A march should happen once Baba comes to give Murli. After the Murli, he will give drishti to all those tableaus or all those models of the temples. So a march was to be organized at midnight. Baba finished his Murli, and then Baba was requested to come out. A very nice stage was set outside the Diamond Hall, and on the main road, which is in front of the Diamond Hall, all those tableaus were brought in at midnight. People are walking in front of those, each tableau, the people who served through that, they were marching like soldiers, and when the tableau comes, they were saluting Baba and all that. But I was given the task to explain Baba as to which model it is and how much service has it done. Which temple is that and how much service has been done. So Muniben said, well, there are 12 models, I cannot remember all those names and all that. I don't know anything, but all people have been served. So Ashok, since you organized it, you sit with Baba and tell him. Now I will say the most beautiful moments of your life, when something unique has been done, that's a different issue. That gives you joy. But it has to be explained to the Almighty God. Now when the first model comes, it was Kashi Vishwanath. The first thing I was slightly, shaken as to what should I tell God? So I said, Baba, this is your most important temple. This is your most important memorial. It's called Kashi Vishwanath, Baba, and this has been taken out from Kashi Vishwanath to Madhuban, and more than 1 million people physically visited this temple when it was being taken out, and they were given your message. So, it becomes very sort of a funny that you have to tell the God that this is your memorial and this has given so much service to so many people. But then I was, in that intoxication, sitting with the God himself and explaining him what all service has been done by each model. So each model was coming, and I was like, Baba, this memorial of yours is called Somnath, this memorial of yours is called Kashi Vishwanath, this is called Kedarnath. So all those models were coming, and I was explaining Baba. What I was observing is that Baba was giving a very powerful drishti to those temple models. And the next day, when I recollected that scene, because you recollect when you sit with God and then you talk to him and then you explain him things, it itself is, re-emerging, also gives you that feeling of bliss. But then I was thinking that this is the reason God has personally given his drishti to these Dwadash Jyotirlings only. That is why they became so important, that people had so much faith in them, that these are the God has really descended in this temple, and they have so much faith that they still come in millions of numbers on every Shivratri or every Monday. A huge amount of people come and do worship in those temples. So you can also experience bliss if you do some work of his, which gives enlightenment to many people. His job is to love all and to impart peace and bliss to all the souls on this earth. And if you happen to join a project in which millions of people are given his message, that also gives you a feeling of bliss. So all those months, whether it was about an year's time, that I had to work hard and go around to different places, organize things and tell them how to make a model and what route chart has to be followed and what all has to be done. But that 1 year, how it went off, I just do not know. The year went off like a few minutes. That means you lose the count of time when you are absorbed in his service. So to sustain a blissful stage, another technique is to get involved into his service, whatever nature it is. But being absorbed in his service also gives you a feeling of being absorbed in him. And that's how you can retain a state of bliss. There are very simple ways of remaining blissful. Being with him during meditation, intense meditation of Amrit Vela or evening or during traffic control time, that is one way to retain your blissful stage. Second way is to get involved into his service. And the third is to sustain our relations with him. So having his companionhood, either through meditation or through service, yad or seva. These are the two major topics. There are 4 topics, Jnana, Yoga, Dharana, Seva, but they condensed to yad or yoga and service, seva. If you are absorbed in these 2 things, whenever, wherever, you can retain your stage of blissfulness. There can be many such experiences with many of you of doing different types of services or experiencing nice stages of meditation on different occasions and different places. Some places have got some very fine vibrations. Like if you happen to go to a beach early in the morning and then you sit in front of the ocean, you get that coolness, you get the ozone, it delights your body, and then if you do meditation, you can go through a blissful stage very easily. Like first that feeling of coolness came from Didi Sudesh, and then in that coolness, when I got my mind absorbed into that peaceful stage of the soul, got detached from the body, went up and experienced bliss from him directly. That was first day because of her strength or his strength, but we all know how to do it now. So we can experience this blissful stage anytime, anywhere, for any length of time. Choice is ours. Easy? Is it easy to do that? After becoming Brahmins and becoming his children, what else we have to do? Either we remember him, or we experience his company through different relations, or we do his service. These are the three major things which we try to keep ourselves busy. And if we can do these things consistently, constantly, for a little longer length of time, we can retain the blissful stage for longer lengths of time. We just share our experiences because there have been some unique things in our life, but small things do happen every day. Whether we are new children of God, just new, because Baba gave that experience on the very first day to this child. Maybe it was a result of some past good karmas or whatever, I don't know. But it can start on the very first day, and it can be sustained to our choice by our own efforts. So it is an achievable thing. And then when you go through various experiences of life, if you are given the task of, like this child gets that task of solving complicated problems, I have to go out and some complications have happened somewhere, you go and solve them. I always remain detached, be with Baba, and I go with this consciousness that I have no karmic count with these souls. These two souls had karmic count, so the complication happened. Listen to each one of them with that feeling of benefaction, equally to both the parties. And then once you listen to their problems, the solution also emerges. And when the solution comes into practical effect, it gives you that feeling of inner joy, that inner satisfaction. And then you feel indebted to Baba. And then you remember him, and when you thank him, you get that bliss coming from him. Because he did it. If you are only an instrument and he is doing it, if you are remaining with that consciousness at all times, or whatever times you can be in that consciousness, you can go through that experience of bliss. Because he is the bestower. So whenever we are either through remembrance we are getting it, or by doing his task we are getting it, or by maintaining a detached stage and attached to him. Detached from the environment and attached to him. The environment may be very peaceless, very rowdy, very noisy. All sorts of things happen in life. Because as long as we travel in this Kali-yugi world, we see all things happening. But if we can keep ourselves detached and keep mentally attached to him and keep taking those blissful vibrations from him and emanating in the atmosphere, you can experience that blissful stage at any time and for any length of time. This is how we retain bliss. But it needs a constant and consistent effort, which I am sure every one of us can put in, because we all need it. We want to retain bliss, we want to have bliss, so we must do a little work for it as well. Even remembrance is a subtle action. Emerging the memories, mentally traveling to Paramdham, conducting meditation, all are little efforts. Getting involved into Baba's work, doing some major task for his service, taking on some responsibilities to do his job, but retaining him with you mentally is the source of retaining a blissful stage. God is always happy and almighty because he always remains blissful. That is why whenever we meet Bab-Dada, now we see his stage. Now some people may say, I haven't seen Baba, how do I know it? Okay, those who have not seen it will see it on 19th. And those who have already seen it, not only once, couple of times, we know it. That how does he behave? How does he speak? When he is giving us Murli, he is speaking. So simple. When he is meeting Dadis, he is speaking. When he is meeting seniors, or he is giving you drishti when you go on the stage, or you are sitting right in front and he is giving you drishti, you are experiencing his presence. So we are the most fortunate ones who are able to see him as well. Bhaktas do not even know him, just remember him and sing his praise, still they get absorbed. Sometimes they are pulled in trance. And we Baba's children are so fortunate that we are able to come to Madhuban and see him. Not only him, but many like him. And Dadis meet Baba. What a beautiful scene it is to watch. When we go through classes of the elders, like Dadi Janki conducts a class, Unaware Bhai conducts a class, Sudesh Ben conducts a class, and every one of them have got their own specialties. And we absorb those things. And then we also develop the talent to do what they are doing, to behave like they are behaving, to communicate with Baba like they are doing. What is needed is the subtle effort on our part. Why Dadi Janki doesn't feel tired? She's 95 years old. If there's a lady of 95 years of age at your home, she can hardly see anything, she can hardly hear anything, she needs two people's help to walk. She always needs a medical doctor around her to keep her going. And when we see Dadi Janki, the sisters bring him to that place and then she walks alone. She doesn't need anybody's help. She travels thousands of kilometers. She always remains fresh. So when we ask her, why don't you feel tired? What does she say? What does she say? I don't spend my energy, so I don't feel tired. As simple as that. I am constantly and consistently in his remembrance. So he is working through me. I only observe as a detached observer. I don't work. He works through this instrument. His energy is spent, not mine. And he is the ocean. So even if his energy is spent, it makes no difference to him. And at the same time, it keeps Dadi very fresh. Why can't we do that? We can also do it, if not to the same extent, to a certain extent. So it's our own effort of remembering him, sustaining his remembrance, joining in his task, doing meditation Amrit Vela and evening hours, practicing drill during traffic control times or any other time, which helps us to retain blissful stage. So let you all, by your own efforts, retain the blissful stage for any length of time you like. Om Shanti.